3DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now let's have some fun. Here is your host, Johnny Radio.
Yo. Welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. I got Jay Morgan all day long, all day strong. We're going to be joined by Isaac Simpson. We'll talk a little NBA hoops. Speaking of hoops, in a minute,
That's literally his name.
It's it. Isaac, double the underscore, though.
Yeah, 2 underscores.
Isaac, double the underscore NBA.
Yeah, it's literally his name.
You know what else we're going to talk about with him? Tiger basketball, because he also covers the Tiger basketball.
It's true. Not his name, though, but it is true. He does cover Tiger basketball.
So we got a little Tiger basketball. We got a little NBA action we're going to talk about at 11:30. I'm not going to talk about the stuff in the first segment that I'm going to talk about with Isaac, but I am going to have to rail against LeBron James again for just being so, unaware.
You said you have to rail LeBron James?
Rail.
So we're going to rail LeBron James this segment?
Not we, sir. It's going to be probably me.
You're going to rail LeBron James
yes,
this segment?
because
right.
you love him. You love him.
I do like LeBron.
You don't ever rail him. I mean, rail against him.
No,
so,
I know I don't.
So we will be talking about that in a few minutes. I also have the bet of the year.
B-O-T-Y.
Man.
Bodie.
And we got to get it in.
Bodie or Body. What is the bet of the year? Is it Bodie or Body?
I think it's Bodie.
I think Bodie sounds better.
I do too.
But Body technically B-O-T-Y.
But see, you would think body.
Would be
some people
T's.
could mess you up and think you're saying body, and you just are from up north or something.
So Bodie.
So
bet of the year is a Bodie.
It's a Bodie.
Get your boats out.
I got a Bodie, bet of the year. I'm excited about it. I believe in this thing so much, it's not even funny. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm letting my little secret out today.
It's not even funny.
12 o'clock, you know what we're doing?
Talking to Evie Van Pelt.
Oh, my goodness. You had to think for a
minute.
I did. You're like, what day is this?
Wait, what's going on here
It's
today?
a Thirsty Thursday at noon. We have Evie Van Pelt. You know her from the Rebel Walk.
Ole Miss Evie.
We're going to talk all
It's
things.
literally in her name.
Ole Miss Evie.
It's literally her name.
And we're going to talk all things Rebels. So, got baseball things to talk about with her. Man, they need to find a shortstop badly over there.
She got drafted, right?
Well, there's got drafted, and the one who was going to play shortstop, TJ, he transferred to Alabama. He played center field for him last year, but he was going to be the shortstop. Now he's in Alabama. So
I see. Amidst the gambling scandal.
Yes, I know. I think he's following the money.
Yeah, clearly.
Smart kid.
Clearly.
But
Connor Dacus, who's Brian Dacus' brother and works up here all the Ole Miss baseball games, says this shortstop that was just drafted, the shortstop that was Ole Miss last year, he thinks he's overrated. He doesn't like him very much.
Ooh, Connor calling somebody out, huh?
Well, he had very high expectations going into the year, and he underperformed considerably this year, didn't he?
I don't know if you know this.
And so did the team as a whole.
I was getting ready to say, it was a whole team effort on underperforming this year, okay?
And then it's contagious,
like everybody
right?
put in, it was contagious as hell. They all caught that sucker, man. It was like season 3 of Jack Bauer, where they're letting out the virus and it just spreads through everybody.
The Walking Dead.
But we got a fun show for you. Again, we're gonna get to the bet of the year. First thing though, I need to jump on.
Bodie.
The first thing I need to jump on. Oh, by the way, I'm very upset. I took bets all over the place. I forgot to remind you of this.
Oh, you're a bookie now?
I took only bets on the whole Hunter Biden and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, those are terrible bets.
Angelina Jolie.
There's no way it belonged to anybody famous.
Oh, come on, man. Those are the people that have been in the White House. Those are the only people I could sneak it in. Angelina Jolie, I could sneak it in because I've seen her in so many movies where she's like, a spy or something and
she used to
kicking people's
She used to
butts.
wear Billy Bob Thornton's blood around her neck.
Oh, yeah, and she's wild. She's crazy. So,
I don't think she's
crazy like a fox. Well, I mean, dude, if you're like I don't
But
know, man.
that was crazy, but I don't think she's crazy.
I don't think she's literally cuckoo.
No, but that was crazy to wear someone else's blood around your neck. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just a little weird. But the point is, the Secret Service, which I just don't believe this, they said they couldn't, it's they couldn't figure out who the coke belonged to. Please. You know who it is. You won't announce it, and now all these bets are null and void. All the money goes back just to everybody. Nobody win. Everybody just basically
It's a ridiculous
kissed their
thing to
sister.
take a bet on.
No, it was a great thing to bet on.
I don't agree.
It was fun stuff. You thought the Secret Service would come through and figure it out.
No, I didn't. I never had faith. Yves Little Faith is what they call me. That's my nickname.
Well, I don't know anybody who has more faith or believe in themselves or likes themselves more and is basically publicly unaware of just how they do everything. And I'm talking about the king, LeBron James. Who in the hell actually thought LeBron James was going to retire? Did you think LeBron James, after scoring 31 points per game? Because at the end of his last game,
he didn't invite the conversation.
Oh, BS! At the very
He
last game,
kind of did, but he didn't actually.
I was going to say, don't try to be one of his family
but
members.
He didn't
and
actually.
take up for him.
He didn't actually say, "I'm thinking about retiring."
He's like, I don't know.
He just used ambiguous language, and then everybody in the media picked up on it and assumed maybe LeBron's going to retire. It was just something to talk about.
Dude,
so,
he loved every moment
how much
of it.
responsibility?
He did that because he knew people were going to go and talk about it because he loves it when everybody's talking about it.
You
and guess
think
what?
what's also
I'm
good for business?
I'm giving him what he wants
It's
by
good for
talking
business.
about him.
It's good for business.
No, it's
too.
good for his ego.
Okay, how about this, John? So you're saying he is responsible for the conversation existing?
Yes, absolutely.
You
After
hold
the
him
last game,
responsible.
when they interview him and he talks about he doesn't know if he's going to run it back, blah, 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 blah. My name's LeBron James. It looks all sad. And then he waits until he goes up for the ESPYs, okay?
Well, he's probably tired, man.
And then he
It's the
waits
last game
until
of the year.
he waits until he's at the ESPYs to tell everybody out there that the day I can't give everything on the floor is the day I'll be done. And then tell me, lucky for you guys, that day is not today. Lucky for me? I mean, yeah, it's lucky for me because, to be honest with you, I'm glad he's playing basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yes,
you
lucky
don't
for
have
us.
to be so
Smug about
like-
it. He's arrogant.
just.
I mean, if LeBron
would
James
Michael
can't be
Jordan
arrogant,
stand
John.
up there and say that?
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
No, he would not.
Absolutely.
Well, he would do
this
it
is
in a
a guy
much
that
cooler way.
This is a guy that put together an 8-part documentary on himself.
Yeah,
and,
when he was
and
retired.
one season.
He was
one
retired.
Oh, so it's different. 'Cause
He was retired, okay? He's
was
not on the
retired.
court.
Look,
you got to look back,
If
brother.
LeBron James and Michael Jordan aren't allowed to be arrogant, who is? Nobody. Nobody's allowed to be arrogant.
Listen to me.
Literally
I might be a
nobody.
hypocrite. It's okay. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not being hypocritical in certain situations.
Well, I wouldn't say that you're arrogant. I'm just saying if those guys aren't allowed to be it, then literally nobody on earth is allowed to
And
be
I'm
arrogant.
not arrogant. I don't think.
Like, is
Probably.
Messi allowed to be arrogant?
Man, you know what? No, he plays soccer. Who
Okay,
cares?
so nobody
cares.
Tom Brady allowed to be arrogant?
Yeah, he won 7 Super Bowls.
So he could be
and
arrogant.
He's dated supermodels.
But LeBron can't. But Tom Brady can.
Yeah, he's retired.
Oh, you got me. Touche.
Yeah, don't mess
So
with
you
this,
can't
brother.
be. So you can't be arrogant while you play, but when you're retired, you're allowed to
I
be.
guess what it is yes. While you're playing,
Is
I don't care.
Is Miguel Cabrera allowed to be arrogant?
No,
3,000 hits, John.
he's not arrogant, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody loves Miggy.
They do.
They
But
love
what
him.
if he was?
And let me just tell you something. If LeBron James again, I'm going to admit, top 5 basketball player of all time. I will agree with that.
Top 60.
He's definitely top 60. That's what I used to say. But I'm going to go top 5. It's hard for me to get him on that thumb, but I got him.
Okay.
And again, he's great, but he just doesn't it's always about him and his self-love for himself. Like, if you want to love, how about love another? And yes, I will say this all the time. Can't love somebody else until you love yourself.
Well, he is.
But, dude, he makes out with himself all day and never gets off of himself.
Like that picture of A-Rod where he's kissing
He is
himself
worse
in the
than
mirror.
A-Rod.
No, it can't be worse
He
than
is
A-Rod.
worse than Alex
Can't be.
Rodriguez. And why did people not like Alex Rodriguez when he was playing? Because he was a hell of a good baseball
Because
player.
he kissed himself in the mirror and reportedly had a picture of himself on
Dude,
his
that
wall
magazine spread was
with-
so horrible.
with horse legs. He was a centaur, but it was Alex Rodriguez's torso up. and then a horse from the endorsement.
Dude, could you imagine LeBron James, what he was probably hanging over his bed? You know it's a picture of him. You know it. You don't have no mirrors.
I think
if it's not mirrors so he can see himself, it's definitely a huge painting.
I think there was a movie that he commissioned that poked fun at that said it had a hologram of himself in his closet that said, "You're going to have a great day." Like Stuart Smalley, kind of.
Oh, gosh.
Doggone it, people like you.
And listen, also LeBron James, like if he was a Grizzly, somebody's out there saying, well, John, you know what? As being a fan, of course you're not rooting for people of the other, other teams.
Yeah, I like my laundry, not their laundry.
Yeah, like let me tell you something. I want
Change
my
laundry,
team to
guys.
beat you. Now, if I bet on you, LeBron James is another reason that I struggle with LeBron James is anytime I ever bet on that man, he didn't play defense that night. He didn't go off, and he really just put me in that corner. So when he's so
Don't
smug,
put baby in a corner.
and he put me in that corner.
Or John, for that matter.
But if he was a Grizzly, would I have liked him? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had a little, championship action, I'd probably look past all his self-love because I'd love him too, just like probably his family does.
I bet you love him when he retires. Because when the next generation is talking about the next big young player that they're talking about, this guy's so good, you're going to come to LeBron's defense. I'm telling you, you're going to one day.
You mean I might tell this to my young grandkids?
One day you're going to come to LeBron's defense.
Say LeBron James. No, I'll be talking about MJ.
Well, you will be, but you'll also be talking about LeBron.
I'll be talking about Kareem.
You'll be talking. This next guy, you'll be thinking he's at best fifth. He can't be better than fifth. Because there's 5 guys, and LeBron's going to be one of them. And then Kareem.
Great.
I don't know who else is going to put on your list.
Now, if he was a Memphis Grizzly, yes, I probably would have liked him. But, I didn't like all Memphis Grizzlies, by the way.
Name a Memphis Grizzly you didn't like.
Pau Gasol.
Really?
All right.
You never at any point liked Pau Gasol, or you were just ready for him to leave when he left?
Man, it's just hard. It's hard
like
to
Rudy
explain.
Gay,
Okay.
people were ready for him to leave when he left.
Truth?
I would love the truth. You hate Spaniards.
So back in the day, when I was a younger feller, about just a few years younger than you, Jay.
Okay.
I was bartending at Alfred's on Beale Street, and this was back when Beale Street was bumping. All right?
Yeah.
I mean, like 98 through 2002, 2003, something like that. It was bumping.
Me and
downtown.
Brian have side bets on what the story's going to be.
So I'm bartending at Alfred's, and there is this beautiful young woman who's at the bar that I had become friendly with, if you know what I mean. All of a sudden, this tall Spaniard walks into Alfred's, and everybody's like, ooh, it's Pau Gasol. Man can't speak hardly a lick of English at this time. And guess who gets up and leaves me at my bar and leaves with Pau Gasol? That girl. You know what? I guess I should like him.
And so that's why you don't like Pau Gasol.
Actually, you know what? I probably should like him now that the time has passed, because now I realize we're Eskimo brothers.
Is that right?
I mean, unless Pau failed. I don't know. Maybe I don't like him. Maybe I do like him. Kobe liked him.
He did.
I like Kobe.
Yeah?
He's hanging now in the Staples Center. They retired his jersey.
You like his brother.
Mark. I mean, as much as you can like Mark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's fine. You're indifferent.
Like, he's just, Mark. I mean, he wasn't like ever... He's not annoying.
Is there another Memphis
Grizzly? He's the complete opposite of not being... Oh, I couldn't stand Shane Battier.
Wow. Is there another story behind this? Or you just don't like him?
See, this sounds horrible to say. Duke. Yeah, he's a Duke guy. And also, his dome, like, it would blind you. Like...
it's a bald joke, right? It's a bald joke.
No, he looked alien, bro.
Is that right?
Yeah. I didn't know.
What does Alex Caruso look
Earthling
like?
or
then?
alien?
What does Alex Caruso look like?
It's a tough one.
What does Cody Zeller? What does Cody Zeller look like? Cody Zeller does look like an alien.
No,
That's fair.
Yes, he does.
You could say Cody Zeller looks like an alien.
Cody Zeller looks like...
Especially with the mask on. He's totally alien.
He looks fluorescent almost. He's so white that he's like...
True.
He's reflecting light.
That's so true.
I've never seen anybody.
Like a ghost.
Oh,
Paper
I don't
snow.
think you're allowed to judge people's looks in 2023, are you?
You started it. You were making fun of Shane Battier's bald head.
By the way, we're going for this one young lady right here, and you know why?
By the way, we're going for this one young lady right there. We're
In-
on the
in
radio, John.
Wimbledon.
Those are not descriptive words
Well,
whatsoever.
you're supposed to fill me in because I don't know these ladies' names.
Sabalenka and Jabeur.
And they're playing in Wimbledon.
Wait, I have a joke. Pretend you didn't hear me say Sabalenka's playing. You ready? I watched Jabeur this morning, John. Say, oh, you did?
Oh, you did.
No. It's like a question like, oh, you did? Okay, let's
Okay.
try it again. I watched Jabeur this morning, John.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, sure did. Defeated Jean Valjean in 3 sets. So, Les Miserables joke.
Oh, you did that flew way over my head, Holmes. Les Miserables.
Not surprising, though, John. Jabeur is ranked 6th, and Jean Valjean is ranked 24,601 in the world. 24601. It's another Les Mis joke. Thank you.
Well, we've
You
railed.
see, Javert is one of the characters in Les Miserables, and Jabeur is this woman's name. You see the similarities there?
But we're not.
It's just one
We're not
letter off.
going for Jabeur. We're going to.
No, I'm cheering for Sabalenka. correct.
Sabalenka.
Sabalenka.
Thank you.
She's very good. She's Russian. Jabert's good too, though. I'll tell you.
I will say one thing. Like, what is it about women who play tennis that come from Russia? Why are they always like really good looking?
Well, Russian women tend to be attractive, John, and then you get a professional tennis player generally in very good shape, the best shape a person could be in.
I think that's probably the most mature answer I've ever heard in my life. Good job. Proud of you. All right. Now it's time to get to the bet of the year. The what do we
The
call
Bodie.
it? The Bodie. The bet of the year. Now, we talked a little bit about some futures odds. And I got a little bit, like a little bit excited about it. So I went back and did a little research and started looking at it because I was talking about the National League Rookie of the Year last week, Do you remember that?
I remember that.
So I went back and looked at it.
And Corbin Carroll was the favorite, right? And
He's
second,
minus 360
and
currently.
Ellie, it was a 2-horse race. It was Corbin and Ellie.
Yeah, because the next best odds are plus 3,900. So
Right.
Here it is. Corbin Carroll's minus 360, okay? Corbin Carroll.
This is going to be against Ellie, isn't it? Oh, my God.
No, it is not.
Oh, it's going to be pro Ellie.
This is so pro Ellie, it's not even funny.
And Corbin's about to be hurt, too, so he's going to miss him. No, Corbin just played in the All-Star game.
No,
He's fine. I'm lying.
Well, dude, he's left the game twice because of his repaired shoulder hurting when he swung the bat. That scares the bleep out of me, homie. This was in a 2-week separation part. You know what I mean? Missing games for things like that. Again, this is his surgically repaired shoulder that he just fixed back in 2021. So, again, that makes me a little bit nervous. What makes me really excited is when I went back and looked at Ella De La Cruz, man. It's after I talked about this Sabalenka girl.
No, don't make excuses, John.
I mean, my tongue just quit working.
Tongue-tied.
But after looking at going back and looking at what De La's done, I started freaking out. And again, it's just 30 games because remember how I was saying I wanted him to play in the All-Star game. I wanted to see Ronald Acuna Jr. I wanted to see De La. I wanted to see him stealing bags. I wanted to see a crazy, excited Corbin Carroll out there, like so much speed on the National League.
Corby.
It was just crazy, okay? That would have been fun. Then I go back and I looked at actually De La because you talked about, he's only played in 30 games.
No, that's why he wasn't an All-Star, not why I wouldn't vote for him for Rookie of the Year. I love to vote for Rookie of the Year.
I know, we got plenty of games. We got plenty of games left for him to catch up. But here's the thing about it. In just 30 games he's played with Cincinnati, my man's batting .325. He is already hit for the cycle. He has 4 home runs. And listen to this. He has 16 stolen bases in 30 games. That's crazy.
That's half a stolen bag a game. That's crazy.
That is insanity. He's also scored 28 runs in those 30 games. And don't forget right now, since he's been called up, the Reds have moved into first place. Yes, first place, and are 22-8 with De La. You look at that team right now. They have the right mix of young people who just don't know that they're not supposed to be doing this. They got the veteran leadership as well with Votto. Their pitching is somewhat shaky.
That's what I was about to ask
But they're going to go out there and make a move with the way this team is in first place. I truly believe.
That's what I was about to ask you, though, is does the winning of the team matter at all? Like, do you think the Diamondbacks are going to win? Do you think the Diamondbacks will win more down the stretch of the season
No,
than the
because
Reds?
remember, I think the Diamondbacks are going to fall off and come back down to earth.
And the Reds play a Central Division schedule.
Exactly. And they're going to win games, and they're going to win that division. I'm telling you right now, Dodgers are going to win that division. If it's not them, I could see that crazy bet plus 900 with San Diego even coming back 8 games down. Again, we saw the Braves do it last year, down 10 games. They came back and
San Diego was like plus 2,000 or something
plus
like
2,000.
that.
It was 3,000.
That's right.
But I just don't believe and the Diamondbacks are going to continue to do it. And one of the reasons is I'm worried about the health of Corbin Carroll and his shoulder. But De La...
They've had a lot of injuries, like, sporadically. Like, wasn't Christian Walker hurt for a period of time this year, I think, too?
He sure was. The good first baseman, great first baseman. He's got his power now. He's actually launching the ball up in the air. Now, but back to De La. He also has that other factor. He is the most electrifying thing in baseball. It's what Deion Sanders had when he was out there on the field, prime time, electric. When you looked at, Ricky Henderson and the way he played, he was electric. I mean, you notice people out there when they play a certain way. And he just has that cachet about him. And, the kid's not afraid of anything. I mean, people tune in to watch De La. How much were you just so excited about Reds baseball until De La came up? I know, and if all eyes are on De La and they're not looking at Corbin Carroll because nobody really cares about, he's playing at 9 o'clock at night on the East Coast, by the way, remember? So more people, especially East Coast voters, are going to be voting with what they see, and what they see is Cincinnati and De La.
I was going to make the argument for Corbin Carroll that he was kind of what Ellie De La Cruz was at the beginning of the year, though. He had that stretch at the beginning. Obviously, Ellie has overtaken that with the popularity now, too. But, I would like the bet for Ellie as well. That's a good bet.
I think at plus 280. I think right now I feel like that's one of the best values and best bets of the year. I love De La. And I'm not crazy enough because I was listening to crazy Tim Kurkjian talking, hey, Tim Kurkjian, in his high voice. And he was talking about this is insane. He said it's Ronald Acuna to be the MVP, okay?
Okay. And
he's like, he's going to be the MVP. But, man, let me tell you something. If something were to happen, I wouldn't be surprised if De La, if they continue to win, he could sneak up and win the MVP. He's that fun. And I'm like, that's a little bit crazy because let's not forget, Freddie Freeman's over there playing, batting .320, 17 bombs, 61 RBIs, playing Gold Glove first base. Hell, even Sean Murphy on the Braves, who's going to win the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove this year for the position, is playing amazing. And last year, the Braves were 28th in throwing out stolen bases. This year, they're 6th. So, Sean Murphy, even him, I don't think De La has a chance at doing something that crazy. But Rookie of the Year, put your money on it, plus 280, lock it up. Don't touch the dial. Isaac Simpson's next, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Buying a diamond here in Memphis just got a lot easier and a lot less expensive. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine from the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm excited to tell you about Genesis Diamonds, now open at Poplar Commons. This is a game-changing concept that will forever change the jewelry scene right here in Memphis. With a gorgeous showroom and a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores, no middleman markups, direct importer pricing, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the industry. This is a revolutionary concept. Genesis Diamonds was started by a former diamond wholesaler who decided to stop selling diamonds to jewelry stores and instead go straight to the public without those ridiculous retail markups. All this with a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores. No commission salespeople, no stress, no pressure, free service for life on any purchase. Don't buy a diamond engagement ring or any diamond jewelry anywhere until you discover this exciting new concept. Genesis Diamonds, now open in Poplar Commons at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Liberty Mutual, you can customize your car insurance to save hundreds. Here's what those savings sound like in dollar bills. Here's what it sounds like in quarters. And here's what that sounds like in cryptocurrency. A thing I totally understand. 1010. I am money. Cha-ching. Beep boop $.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Jay Morgan Hart is hanging out with me all day long, and we got Isaac Simpson. It is a thirsty Thursday, so we got to talk a little NBA, a little Tigers. But first and foremost, man, Isaac, I think you were on vacation. I hope you were, man. How's life treating you? Yo, Isaac. We got Isaac? Hold tight. I'll set Isaac down back there for just a second, but we are going to talk a little bit about Ja Morant. We're going to talk a little bit about Memphis Tigers, what's going on with Javon Quinterly. But first, Isaac, what's up, my friend?
Man, what's going on? Having a little technical difficulties here, man. I don't know what's going on, but good, man. How are you doing, John?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain. Did you get to go on a vacation?
I did. It wasn't anything special, man. Just went out of town to visit some family, man. Just took it easy for a week. Took some days off, man. Was just glad to finally get rest, man. I've been going nonstop, man. Feel like for months. So we're just glad to get a little bit of time off.
Man, I'm glad you did too. First and foremost, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's going on with those Grizzlies Summer League players. You've been watching some hoops, man. How's my man Snack doing? What's going on? Kind of give us a little recap of what you saw.
Yeah, man. Summer League, it hasn't been a lot to take away from it. I think for Junior Lofton, I think one thing with him, and a lot of people that were doubters of his, I think now they finally come around to realize that he's the guy that should be getting minutes in the regular season and be in a rotation. I'm not surprised, man, because every time that he steps on the floor, he's done this. Like, even going back to college, high school, on the U19 team, USA team, I mean, he's just always been a hooper. So this doesn't really surprise me because he's just basically doing the same thing he's always done. I think one thing that's different, I think his defense has definitely improved. And I think that's something that this front office and that coaching staff wants to see from him. I mean, he's playing drop coverage really well, man. He's getting in the passing lanes, even get a couple blocks here and there. So he's definitely improved on the defensive end. And it's also his three-point shot. He's always been able to knock it down, but he's shooting it with a lot of confidence right now, man. He almost every time he shoots that top of the key three, I'm expecting to go in at this point. So he's looking good there. So I think he's kind of proven now that they got to find a way, man, to get him some minutes, man. I mean, because, again, he's a bucket. Anytime he's out there, man, if you need offense, for sure, he can get you buckets, and I think he's improved on the defensive end. I think of the other guys that you want to see, LaRavia, he's been up and down. Yesterday, he played some pretty good defense. I mean, we talk a lot about his foot speed and lack of foot speed, but he was kind of able to get to the basket yesterday and finish somehow. I'm not sure, but it is Summer League, and I think you have to take that with a grain of salt. with the other stuff with him, I'm not so much concerned about the other stuff. I think in order for him to be a viable NBA rotation player, he's going to have to be pretty much a sniper from three. Like, he needs to be like 38+%, and he still hasn't shown that consistency with his shot. He's been super streaky, and I think he's shooting like 34, 35%, and that's in summer league. Man, he's going to have to do better than that, or I think some of his other shortcomings is going to be hard to keep him on the floor if he can't consistently knock down open threes, and he just still hasn't shown that consistency there. G.G. Jackson is a prospect that I really love, but he looked like an 18-year-old yesterday. He really struggled to shoot the basketball, struggled defensively. But, I mean, it's going to be up and downs with him. You're talking about a kid that should be coming out of high school graduation right now. I mean, he reclassified and came in college a year early. So he's stepping into this, been super young, will probably be the youngest player in the league this year. It's gonna be some growing pains. So he's gonna go down to South Haven, I think, for a year or two and kind of marinate down there, and you see what you have. And outside of that, Roddy, I think he's kind of hurt himself after the season that he had last season. You expected him to come in and kind of hit the ground running and kind of look too good for summer league, and he hasn't done that. He kind of looks slow. I don't know if he's put on weight. It's been weird with him, but I think out of anybody, if you're being disappointed, I think Roddy is kind of the guy that hasn't really shown what you thought he would.
What do you think about some of the those who kind of, like you said, have kind of looked at Roddy a little bit different? I know it's summer league, maybe, just wasn't given the effort. I don't know. But I keep hearing this. Yeah, he's big body Roddy, but he's still undersized in vertically height. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm starting to think that he's probably an undersized four, a small ball four, and that he's not a wing. I think they're trying to make him a wing, and I just don't know if he has the foot speed to kind of play that position. And even his three-point shot is not looking good in the summer league. So I'm starting to think that he's really just a four, and I don't think that's a good thing because this team, they need guys to develop on a wing, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And because I talked about this on our podcast last night, I expected there to be some type of consolidation, some kind of consolidation move to kind of clear out some space on this roster. I don't know how they're going to play this because you have a lot of guys kind of in that same small forward, power forward role that beat minutes because you got Zaire Williams, and I think he's probably the biggest winner out of summer league just by him not playing. I think a lot of these guys had a chance to kind of separate themselves, and they haven't done that at all. So I think by not playing and you're not seeing Zaire out there possibly making mistakes and still struggling, I think it kind of moves him back to the top of that heap with this group of players. But you have Zaire, you have Jake LaRavia, you have David Roddy. You also have Tenth Williams Jr., who has kind of put his name in the hat. He was kind of an afterthought coming in the summer league. He's looked really good on both ends of the floor. Was really shooting the basketball well, playing good on the defensive end, and they shut him down. He ended up with a hamstring injury, so he's done for the summer league. But he's throwing his name in the ring as well. And you also drafted G.G. Jackson, who is another guy who's not going to be up with the big club, but you just have a big group of guys that kind of, you're thinking in the same mold, that small forward, maybe power forward type role that you're trying to develop. And especially those three main guys, I don't know how you're going to get those guys on the floor. And kind of the way that the front office has been talking about it, I don't think that those main three guys, they're not going to want to send those guys down to the D League anymore either. So I don't know how they played it. I really think they have too many developmental guys that they just don't have the minutes on a team that considers itself to be a contender to kind of play these guys and develop them.
What do you see going forward for Zaire?
Man, that's going to be interesting. Like he went steps back so far last year, man, and I don't know if we've ever seen anything like that. People talk about a sophomore slump, but he just didn't look like the same player at all. And I know a lot of people talk about the tendonitis and the injuries, but I don't buy into that because, I mean, he was playing in the G League. He was playing major minutes down there when he was down there, and he played, like, I think, that last game against Oklahoma City in the regular season, played close to 40 minutes. He was available in the playoffs. So I don't necessarily think it was the injuries. I don't know what it was. I think it's more mental with him. And I don't know if that's something that he can get back. You hope it is. I would have liked to have seen him play summer league. A lot of people said they didn't think he needed to play his third year, but I just don't think he showed enough last year to graduate out of that. I think he needed to be playing, and he needed those reps. And it was just kind of surprising to me that he didn't end up playing summer league. But I think they're going to give him the push because they took him with a top 10 pick. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to kind of be that guy that emerge out of this group. But can he do it? That's the question. Can he get back in the mindset that he had his rookie year? That's going to be the question going into training camp, and that's what's going to be interesting to watch throughout the season. But I do think at the beginning of the season, he's going to be the guy that they give the biggest push to just because he's that top 10 pick. And as a front office and coaching staff, they don't want to be wrong on that one.
Who has the biggest impact next year of David Roddy, Snack Lofton, and Zaire?
Man, I would like to say my guy Kenneth Lofton Jr. It's tough because if you kind of look at the big rotation, if you have Steven Adams back, you have Xavier Tillman, and that's going to be the big question. Is it, do you take Tillman's defense or do you take Lofton's offense? Those two guys I think are going to battle it out, and I just don't know if they're going to give Lofton still the push that I would like to see him get, because I love his game, man. I just think because outside of just scoring, he also brings playmaking ability. If you see some of the passes that he's making out there, he just has a super high IQ. But you said David Roddy. That's tough because with Zaire, I'm still extremely skeptical. I just don't know if he can get there. I think that they're going to push him the most out of that group. So I guess I'm going to go with Zaire, but I don't feel super comfortable with that. But I guess just because of the way I think that they're going to operate, I think I would go with Zaire.
Nice. All right, now, Isaac, we're talking with Isaac. And by the way, check out his podcast. Of course, that's Ethos Grizzlies podcast, followed on Twitter at Ethos Grizzlies. All right, so did you check out Imani Bates playing in the Summer League?
I did, man. Well, he played well against the Grizzlies.
Sure did, didn't
he? That's for sure.
He hit his shot that day looked ridiculous. He looked super fast, tall. I mean, golly, it's hard to stop somebody that tall with the arms, 7 feet long, shooting a 3-pointer from out there. In a couple of years, do you think my man Imani Bates can actually be a contributor in the league?
Man, I'm actually not a fan of his NBA prospects because his arms are actually short. Like he had a negative wingspan when they had the combine at Memphis. I think he measured even at the NBA combine, 6'9", wingspan, 6'9". He measured 6'9". So he doesn't have long arms, and his agility numbers are terrible. Like he only has a 24-inch vertical. Like all of his numbers are bad for a guy of his size and arch type, and that's what worries me. Like I've never questioned whether he could put the ball in the basket because you saw at Eastern Michigan, they just gave him the keys, man, told him to go out there and do whatever he wanted, and that's the kind of thing that I worry about in an NBA structured offense. I don't know where he fits because he's a guy, I think he needs the basketball to kind of create some of the stuff that he does, and I don't know if they're going to hand him the keys like that. I guess he could be a guy that comes off the bench to get buckets, but I think when you get to the NBA and you get stronger guys, I think they're going to stop him from getting to his spot. His handle's kind of shaky as well. I don't know if he's going to be able to get by anybody because he doesn't really have that burst. He's just going to be a guy that you kick it out to, hit a wide open shot. He can do that, but I just don't know about the rest of his game if he could ever expand that due to physical limitations to a point to where he's a guy that's going to get regular minutes. That's what I question with him. And I think one thing about him is he got a lot of bad advice during his high school years. He was looked at as being like the next LeBron at one point, and he got kicked out of several different schools because he wouldn't accept the coaching. So to the point to where his dad created a school and a team from the play for it, and I don't think he ever progressed from that point because he was playing for his dad, and he just kind of let him do whatever he wanted, and his game never progressed the way that it should have. And I think that's kind of put him in a bad spot. Now, we'll see if he has the work ethic. That's been a question with him to kind of go out there and get better. But I'm not a big believer in him just because of some of those things that I just stated.
All right, we're going to have to switch gears, and you're going to have to put your lawyer cap on. Are you ready to do this?
Man, ready.
Are you ready? We're talking with Isaac Simpson.
Esquire.
We follow him at Isaac _NBA, and I got to know a little bit the young man Holloway filed a lawsuit that accuses John Morant and Devontae Pack of assault, reckless endangerment, abuse, neglect, and inflicting emotional distress. Of course, they Carol Trumney presided over a little bit of some. She moved it now to October 12th. They're going to be doing subpoenas. They're going to bring up all kinds of depositions. They're going to have to exchange evidence. So a lot of this stuff is definitely going to come out on October 12th. The thing that I found fascinating is that they say that my man, Mr. Holloway, Joshua Holloway, throwing the basketball at Ja and hitting him in the chin is why they're saying that Ja Morant acted in self-defense and would receive immunity under Tennessee law. Is this going to fly?
It seems like it is. They're talking about the stand your ground law, and basically it was self-defense because Holloway admitted to throwing the ball and hitting Ja with it, and Ja hit him. And they said that when Ja hit him, he didn't actually come down, and then Devontae Pack jumped in and hit him a couple more times. He's the one that knocked him down, and that there was no reason for him to actually be involved in it because it wasn't self-defense. He was just kind of jumping in and made it 2-on-1, so that he's kind of in the wrong. But it's interesting timing that this comes out now. I guess maybe it had something to do with what Devontae Pack said in his deposition, and I guess maybe Ja Morant basically admitted to hitting him and said it was in self-defense. It seems like it is. And from people that I've talked to, I've heard some things that basically Ja has kind of separated himself from Devontae Pack. They've kind of went their separate ways, which is something that I think that needed to happen. Anyway, not to blame Devontae Pack for all of Ja's shortcomings because, I mean, Ja's a grown man. Devontae Pack can't make him do anything, but I just don't think that's – I think when he's around Devontae Pack and some of those other guys, it just promotes bad situations. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all that Devontae Pack, if they go in their separate way. But I think a lot of it has to do with some of the stuff in his deposition. Devontae Pack kind of, in a civil lawsuit, kind of
doesn't look good. It basically gave
information that didn't need to be said. Yeah, like some stuff. So I think they've kind of separated. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But it looks like Ja's not going to get any other backlash. He's even winning some of his court battles. I think on a couple of days ago had like 3 small victories in his countersuit. So it looks like he's as far as criminally anything like that. It looks like Ja's going to be in the clear on this.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like criminals. This is just a civil one, and I think Devontae Pack's the one who's looking at anything else. The worst end of it. Probably though Ja's pocketbook is going to be a little bit lighter after this. But I kind of find it fascinating that literally the Attorney General, the AG of Tennessee, is about to decide whether this can be, basically you can use this self-defense and it can be applied to the case under the state constitution, which is kind of wild that, all these depositions and subpoenas and all this stuff back and forth, it's going to go all the way to the Attorney General of Tennessee, who's going to have to decide if this is actually, if you can apply throwing a basketball at somebody's chin on their property as a right to stand your ground. So
yeah.
I
also think Holloway's mom they have a history of kind of doing stuff like this, and I think that also hurts their case because they tried to sue the school system or in the fire department. They've had a couple of these kind of lawsuits that they end up losing. I don't think that helps their case at all.
So they're very litigious, huh?
Yeah. So I think that kind of hurts their credibility a little bit, and I think that was kind of one of the things going into this and I think John and his camp was looking at like to show that they made frivolous lawsuits before. So it is, man, wild to know that that's how this thing's gonna be determined. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out for sure.
Oh man, it is going to be absolutely crazy. Heck, I didn't even get to talk to you about the Tigers that are going on. Anything you hearing about Dre or Javon Quinterly? Any good news coming down the pipe? Or are we all just standing here twiddling our thumbs?
Yeah, man, there are 3 big shoes to drop that I think could completely change the trajectory and expectations for this team. Because number one, you got DeAndre in his situation, which kind of surprises me because a couple of days ago his attorney just came out and said that they just submitted the information to the University of Memphis Compliance Department, and that the Compliance Department has to then submit it to the NCAA, which worries me because we all know how long it takes to the NCAA to kind of handle these situations. So I'm not feeling good about that. It always seems like Memphis waits a long time to kind of turn these things in late into the summer, and then you get into the season and they still haven't made a decision yet. That's what you hope doesn't happen. Javon Quinterly, I still feel really good about that. You haven't heard about him taking any other visits. There was a rumor that Providence was involved with him. That turned out not to be true. So you really haven't heard of really any other schools. I think Kansas State was one that you heard a little bit that was involved, but I feel like after the way that the Dayton Bradley situation played out earlier, that Penny ended up losing him, got him on campus and losing him. With the Mikey Williams situation, looks like it's not going to happen. I think he has to lock this one down. So I feel pretty good when Penny's back against the wall, man. He usually gets it done, and this kid's been on campus. I think Javon Quinley ends up in a Memphis uniform. The third thing is Jordan Brown has some academic stuff. This will be his fourth school during his college tenure, and there's been some question about whether some of his credits will transfer over to the University of Memphis. So you look at that situation with him that could mean that he might not be able to play the first semester, might not be able to play until conference play. So that's something that has to play out as well. There's also, I've heard that his parents kind of want him possibly to just skip this at all and just get ready for the draft. So there's some questions still out there with Jordan Brown, but if all three of those things fall the University of Memphis' way, this is unquestionably, I think, Penny's best team, and I think anything else short of the second weekend, I think, will be a big disappointment because that would be really intriguing, man. If they can get those three things in with the talent that they already have on the roster, this could be a really, really good team.
Isaac's got you covered from the Grizzlies, the NBA, and the Tigers. Do me a favor and plug away, my brother.
Yeah, man. You can make sure you check us out at Ethos Grizzlies. Just dropped the podcast last night. I got the info on that. You can tune into that on my timeline on Twitter, so make sure you check it out. And you can check me out on Twitter at Isaac_NBA. That's ISAAC_NBA. You can also check out my work with the Tigers at TigerSportsReport.com.
Be blessed. We'll do it again next Thursday. We're back in two shakes. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Corky's Barbecue. Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked.
Flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. We got some scorching hot takes coming around from some golfers and some football coaches. You got Roy McIlroy saying how I'd retire before playing for the Live Golf. So he's still a little upset about the whole merger that's going down. And Sonny Dykes down at Big 12 Media Days, he came out with this scorching hot take. Says Missouri was playing in a lot of Big 12 championships. Haven't seen much of that in the SEC. A&M was a competitive program. Not as often now. I don't know about you, but UCLA and Rutgers, do they feel like a natural rival to you? Every school has to do what they feel best for them. If going 8-4 makes you feel good because you made a lot of money, well, that's your decision. It depends on what matters to you. I don't know about him, and I got to ask you a question. Does UCF or BYU sound like natural rivals to you?
Sounds like a great rivalry to me. The Holy War.
West Virginia's been in that league for like 10 years. Does that feel like still a Big 12 school for you?
West Virginia?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, I don't know. I mean,
John,
I'm just saying,
John,
are they out there competing for championships?
John, what year did West Virginia join the Big 12? 2011, right?
I can't remember.
I think it's 2011. I was 11 when it happened. So
that's how
most of my
your
life,
memory.
West Virginia's been in the Big 12.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
And if we're being honest, when I was younger than 10, I didn't really know conferences. I just watched teams play football. So pretty much all my life, West Virginia's been in the Big 12.
That is actually very interesting. I didn't think about that. Now, also the Oklahoma-Texas situation, I think that's also pretty crazy when you think about it, because I think the Big 12 has done a good job of keeping being extremely relevant. They're not the Pac-12. They're not an embarrassment. I mean, USC and UCLA leaving for the Big Ten is wild. Their conference is totally diminished, and a lot of people think the Big 12 is going to continue to poach some more and steal from the Pac-12. But losing Oklahoma and Texas, Oklahoma since 1996, 169-58 in the Big 12. Texas 149-78. Kansas State 133-95, and then it just goes down from there. But I mean, like West Virginia 47-51. That's how I guess that's your whole lifetime. But yeah, it's not like they're cemented into this conference. I don't know. I like Sonny Dykes. Don't get me wrong. I love some Sonny Dykes. I guess I'm just like, it's easy to throw shade at saying like Texas. He didn't even name Texas or Oklahoma. He also, he used Missouri, who had left. He used the UCLA, Rutgers, and the Big Ten. He didn't mention about Oklahoma and Texas. He never mentioned those names. But that's who he's talking about.
Sure.
That's what he's basically saying. Texas and Oklahoma, you're going to go be Missouri. Now, I don't believe Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC and going to become Missouri.
No, I don't either. I think it's crazy.
I think it's still crazy when you think about Missouri. Remember when they first came in the conference? First 2 years they were here, they were actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've just, they're not. They're just not good right now. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with all that good stuff. I have to remind all you wonderful people that we're about to talk with Evie Van Pelt. And when you go down to Oxford, because we're talking all things Ole Miss Rebels with Evie, you want to look good when you go down there. So stop by Frontier Western Store on your way. They're at 5880 Goodman Road. They're down in Olive Branch. Hop on in. You can get stuff for your wife. You can get stuff for your daughter, your son, your grandmother. You can get some presents for friends. You'll be styling and profiling because they have a ladies' boutique for all the ladies in your life. They have a little kids' department for all those little tykes. And don't forget about you, man. They got you covered, man, head to toe. They got hats. They got boots in the largest boot showroom. Dress boots, work boots, cowboy boots, you name it. They got it all at Frontier Western Store. Again, they're at 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch. Or you can shop online, frontierwesternstore.com. You can't get down to Olive Branch? I know you can pick up your phone, hop on your computer, frontierwesternstore.com. It's easy to navigate. You can shop by men's, women's, kids. You can shop by brand. You can check out all their items that are on sale. And once you place your order, it comes to you fast. They ship their order out within 24 hours, and any order of $75 or more is shipped absolutely free. That's Frontier Western Store and FrontierWesternStore.com. On the other side, we got Evie Van Pelt, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
And if the cloud bursts, thunder in your ear, you shout no.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them unique, Landscape Stone Center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover. Plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. But you got to be willing to take the hit and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy, Johnny Radio. Jay Morgan's departed. I got his backup, or I got his relief. The relief has come into the game, and it's Bryant Dacus.
Coming out of the bullpen.
You can see him. He comes out the bullpen, but he comes out. He's a starter every single day from 3 to 6 on Sports Time right here. Check him out with Brett Norsworthy. But it's 12 o'clock on a Thursday. And you know we always talk with Evie Van Pelt, the sweet, the lovely Evie Van Pelt at Ole Miss Evie on the Twitter. Don't forget, follow at The Rebel Walk and go to therebelwalk.com for all your sports information. They are your number one source. Bring in Evie Van Pelt. What's up, Evie? How are you today?
I'm doing great. I feel like we hadn't talked in forever, so I'm so excited to be here with y'all.
Thank you for being excited. Last week we had a little technical difficulty. It
happened.
It was one of those shows, man. I was treading some water last week.
Well, I told you. I know folks loved getting to listen to you for the whole time. So.
All right, now I got to ask you some wonderful questions because everybody's feeling a little bit excited right now. Just kind of look at those butterflies. SEC Media Days are right around the corner. First and foremost, who's Lane Kiffin taking up to Nashville with him?
Well, it's interesting. I think some people might have thought maybe a quarterback would go. Sometimes that's kind of common, but not with Coach Kiffin. We have got Quinshon Judkins. So don't you know, everyone will be wanting to hear from Quinshon.
If he didn't go, with the media revolted?
I think the media just might have stayed in Oxford and looked hidden around to try and find Quinshon anyway, because everybody wants to hear from him. Since he was a freshman last year, we really didn't get to hear from him. So really looking forward to that. And he's also taken senior defensive end Cedric Johnson, and Cedric actually is this will be his second year in a row to attend, and he was wonderful last year. I really enjoyed getting to talk to him. He had some injuries this past season, so we'll see how he's doing. And then DeAndre Prince, the senior DB from Charleston, Mississippi. He is kind of the veteran in the room, and I'm really happy for him that he gets to go.
SEC Media Days again around the corner, and you mentioned that the quarterbacks are not going. How many questions do you think Lane Kiffin's going to have basically about his quarterback situation? Spencer Sanders, of course. You have Jackson Dart, and then the young man from LSU, Mr. Walker Howard, in there. What do you think? How do you think Lane handles the questions, and what do you think he's basically going to say?
Well, it's funny. I've seen so many different media outlets say, here are the questions that Lane Kiffin will not answer at SEC Media Days. So I think we all know that quarterback one is going to be one of them. I think even if he knew, it would be silly of him to tip his hat to the teams he's going to face on the schedule first. But I think he's going to be asked about that a million times. And what I've noticed is I think when a reporter asks and doesn't get the answer, then he might try a follow-up in a different roundabout way, and then so do all the other people. So I expect him to get a whole lot of questions on that. And we're fortunate, the Ole Miss Media Relations makes it possible where we, the local media that covers Lane Kiffin, will have like a separate session with him before he goes out onto the main stage. So we'll be in one of the suites or something there in Nashville and get to visit with him. And I mean, I'm sure all of us will be asking the same thing, and he'll give us the same, not answer about that. But really, really looking forward to it. It's funny, a lot of people, I think, in media get a little tired of media days and such, but not me. I'm excited. It's like I'm going to be a kid in a candy store, and it just means it's that much closer to the kickoff of the season. So I'm excited.
Yes, I love talking season. And plus this year, the fact that it's at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville, like I love me some Nashville. And, the cool thing is, the Rebels don't even take the podium until Thursday. Maybe you can sneak out and enjoy a little bit of Nashville on Monday and Tuesday.
I know that sounds good. And, I usually try. I always want to see what Nick Saban has to say. And I might have to force myself to be in there and listen to what Jimbo has to say, just to see if he throws any barbs at anybody. Be ready for that.
Well, that's the first day. LSU, I think they're kicking things off with Brian Kelly. You also have Missouri with Eli Drinkowitz, and then Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. I thought it was fascinating since you brought up A&M, and we'll be hearing them from the first day. It felt like Sonny Dykes was throwing a lot of shade at basically Oklahoma and Texas today. He didn't say them by name, but he talked about how's Missouri look over there in the SEC. He talked about, are they competing for championships? And he's like, Texas A&M was a competitive program. Not so often now. If Jimbo Fisher has not a very competitive year this year again, is he, even with that huge contract, could you see him out the door?
I absolutely can. To be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised last season. And I just say that because I know how much money, the expectations. And I know, as a graduate of A&M, I know how much money those people have. They have so much money that, again, all the folks telling me, oh, well, they couldn't buy out an $89 million contract or whatever. I'm like, hold my beer, because I think really probably they could. So I suspect if he had another 5-7 kind of time, or 6-6, I don't know. I think that the seat could get very, very warm for Jimbo.
Who do you think has the hottest seat coming into this year, especially going down to media days? Who needs to put up or shut up?
I honestly really think probably Jimbo would be my number one candidate. And I think it's just he's doing less with more, more facilities, more money, that number one recruiting class that he had. If you believe reports that said it was a $30 million class, I don't know about that, but needless to say, they've invested a lot of money. I think they have 2 practice facilities. I mean, they just have excess. I don't know when enough is enough, but I know enough is enough has not come in the form of wins yet.
I was telling you, maybe you're have to get out on the town a little bit. But then I thought about, Tuesday you can't, because I know you're going to have to listen to Hugh Freeze in Auburn, first year at Auburn, the former Rebel. I mean, I think that would be kind of fun. And then also your rival Mississippi State, the first time Zach Arnett's going to take the podium. So there's going to be Tuesday's pretty packed.
Right, it is. And, so I think there's something for everybody on every day. And I'm looking forward to it. Last year, I think Kiffin was the only one who came out and he wasn't wearing a tie. And, he talked for a while about how liberating it was. He's wearing a suit, but he wasn't wearing a tie. And he said, why do you have to wear a tie? Think outside the box, create a new box. So Kiffin is always going to be entertaining. But you're right about Freeze. I want to hear what he has to say and see how much of it is similar to what I heard, covering him for a number of years at Ole Miss. So that'll be fun too.
Speaking of thinking outside the box, you always think about Lane Kiffin on 4th down. You think about, by the way, Lane Kiffin's always thought about as the quarterback guy, but again, they ran the ball right down everybody's throat. They run the ball extremely well. I expect a whole lot more from that. But when you talk about thinking outside the box, is Pete Golding going to have to change his style, possibly a little bit coming from Alabama, where there was 1 million 5-stars on the defensive side of the ball? And I mean, Ole Miss has their they have their 5 stars as well. It's just they're not as deep. Does he have to change a little bit?
I think so. I think that, listening to some of the players that we've had an opportunity to hear from just over the summer, they've talked about Golding and what a big factor he was in their decision. And a couple of them we've talked to have said, we're just going to have a really attacking defense. He's going to put us in one-on-one situations so we can create mismatches and maybe make some plays behind the line of scrimmage. And I think, really and truly, the Golding has brought in some players. There was a 3-star defensive back that some Rebel fans were like, "Oh, why are we getting we want a 4-star, we want a 5-star." But Golding made it known to someone. Yeah, said he's the top kid, and so I think that we're going to see some adjustments. Yeah, I think so. I think definitely 4-man front for a lot of the time. That's going to be something different that fans will be excited to see. And, but, it just sounds like from everything, everybody, obviously you want your defense to be physical and attacking, but it looks like that's been key points of emphasis so far.
Well, another big key point about, with SEC Media Days right around the corner is, of course, their commissioner, Greg Sankey. He's been extended. He's been in charge since 2015. How important was it to lock him up a little longer?
I think that's a real key thing, and it's funny. I don't know that most of us prior to COVID maybe walked around with much love for the commissioner. I don't know that we didn't have love for him, but I don't know that it was really much of a thought. But I think the way it just still will always stand out to me. I think he's in his 9th year in the SEC, so he's been involved with a lot of innovative things, but just the simple fact that we had college football in that COVID season when nobody else was going to do it. And I think the only reason everybody else ended up deciding to do it was because Greg Sankey said the SEC is going to play football. So, I think everybody will forever be grateful to Sankey for that. So I think that was very important, especially as we now start to have to navigate NIL and collectives and all that. So.
And it's, those aren't just just think about not even that, but he's also added, Texas and Oklahoma. They're going to begin next year. That's another great grab, and I think he closed out that agreement with what was it, Walt Disney Company.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
he's got it. He's got him the money. He got him through COVID. He brought him a little Texas, a little Oklahoma. You can't complain about the man's job anymore, can you?
Yeah, and I think 2023, the SEC schools recorded 8 national championships and placed the most schools in the top 25 among all conferences in the Learfield Cup standings. So I think I read SEC schools have won 48 national titles since he became commissioner in 2015. So you can't argue with that.
When everything goes to 12, which he was also a big part of college football expansion, going to 12 for the playoff. How big is this for someone like a school like Ole Miss?
Oh boy, it's absolutely huge because I can see while it's so hard to break into that top 4, as it has been, the top 12. I think if you're a competitive team in the SEC, I think
if you finish
stand a
second in
chance.
the West, just think about a few years ago when the Ole Miss went to the Sugar Bowl. They're
Right.
in probably.
Right. That's what I think, and so I'm just super thrilled about that and looking forward to that. I think it's going to make it really fun for a lot of people to watch, even more so than it already is. But yeah, I think when, again, and I've said this before, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think when you're paying Lane, $9.5 million and he's in the top 10 highest paid coaches in the NCAA, I think, a top 12 finish is not outside of the realm of expectation.
Well, for all these things to go forward, and like you mentioned, the transfer portal and now NIL, the game has changed. We're going to 12 in the playoff. A lot of things have become different, but again, one thing that always makes sure you continue going forward is money. There's been a little bit of change in the collective down in Oxford. Can you fill me in on exactly what's happened?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So it came out yesterday, the Grove Collective, the Ole Miss arm of NIL, is now a founding member of what's called TCA, the Collective Association. And it is a group of 7 have joined together to form this collective association. And it says they're going to serve as a voice for athletes in their best interest, provide a forum for collectives to discuss all these current issues, and provide a unified voice for collectives to kind of leverage their position. And so it's the University of Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Florida State, Southern Cal, Michigan, and Penn State. So that's going to be interesting to me to see how that, moves forward. And I think that, one of the things they've talked about, this new association wanting to do, is getting kind of a uniformity of agents, requirements and such, because right now, I think, kids can be represented by, just all levels up and down, good and bad of people. Some are great, some are legit, some are not. And so this is, I think that Walker Jones and who runs the Ole Miss Grove Collective, I think, is very forward thinking in what he's doing. And, it wasn't that long ago, I think a week ago, Ole Miss was listed in, the top 10 most, and I don't know how they determine this, but forward thinking, ambitious collectives in the nation. So I'm really excited about that.
And now that the Grove Collective has joined the TCA and you kind of look at it, your first thing is you realize this isn't just SEC teams. You got ACC teams, Florida State in there. You got the Big Ten with Michigan and Penn State. What do you think about it crossing basically, conference lines?
I think that what that will do, I've read that what they're going to do, these 7 initial members are going to vote on a set of bylaws they're going to start holding conversations with Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, along with conference commissioners and ADs. And I think that having such a big cross-section there will make them, probably have a bigger voice. And I think that they're going to be expanding. I think these are the 7 founding members, but I think that there will be more.
Oh man, football is right around the corner next week. It's going to be next Thursday. We'll be checking everything. Ole Miss, as they'll be doing SEC Media Days. Their day for Lane Kiffin to go up there is again next Thursday. And also, if you were wondering who was going up to SEC Media Days, you got Quinshon Judkins, the amazing running back, Cedric Johnson, second time up there, their defensive end, and Devontae Prince, their defensive back. Evie, I got to switch gears real quick. The draft came and went, and you had a lot of Ole Miss Rebels get drafted, but my goodness, my man Jacob Gonzalez was drafted 15th overall by the White Sox.
Yes, he was drafted by the White Sox. You're right, 15th overall in the first round. And he was joined by catcher Calvin Harris, who was drafted by the White Sox in the third round. And they joined Tim Elko, who was in the White Sox organization. So,
man, we're going to have to start being the White Sox fans.
Turn it into Ole Miss North.
Ole Miss North. That's exactly right. So I think everybody was excited to see that. Of course, Kemp Alderman got picked second in the draft by the Marlins, and then Jack Doherty closed things out, drafted by Minnesota in the 9th round. So that was the good part of the draft for Ole Miss. I think the hard part was they lost some players, some high school players that they had sure hoped to be able to keep. One among them was Cooper Pratt, a shortstop. They lost him to the draft. And, it's so weird, the whole where you get picked and your slot value. Well, your slot value, I think what Cooper ended up with was, slot value maybe 300 and some odd thousand. And so some Ole Miss fans thought, oh, yay, we're going to get Cooper Pratt to campus. However, what these teams can do is they can withhold some of that slot money early if they want to. So a Cooper Pratt ended up getting not the $327,000 that folks thought, but upwards more of $1.4 million. So you're a high school kid and you get $1.4 million and you can just go play ball. I mean,
it's hard not to take that.
Yeah, who wouldn't take that all day, every day? So Ole Miss did get some good news. I believe they lost a couple of pitchers in the draft that they, thought probably would happen, but weren't sure. But they did get some good news. Xavier Rivas, who pitched last season for Ole Miss and started out the Sunday guy and then ended up the Friday guy after Hunter Elliott got hurt. Rivas yesterday said he will be coming back. He did have talks with some teams, but he was very firm on his number that he wanted in order to leave and not come back to school. And I actually got the chance to talk with him on the phone yesterday. And he said, I was firm in my number. And he said, I was real good coming back. So I'm sure Coach Bianco even took a visit to his house to talk to him and kind of present him with all the options. And so we're really glad he's going to be coming back. And we've also heard Josh Mallett, who was injured and had Tommy John, that he is going to be back. He's a closer. He had Tommy John in November, and so we're now hearing that he did not go in the draft and he will be back. So that's a couple of bits of good news.
Well, that is good news, but I'm going to ask you, who's going to fill those big shoes of Jacob Gonzalez at shortstop?
Well, okay, I'll tell you. I don't know for sure now. I'm sure you saw that T.J. McCants transferred yesterday to Alabama, committed to Alabama, with Cooper Pratt, who was projected to be a 3-year starter at shortstop in Oxford. So for him to go on to MLB, that definitely leaves a big hole. And, McCants was a shortstop in high school. I don't know how many people know that, but he was like the number 7 ranked shortstop in the state of Florida, the number 29 overall in the country. So I think he could have played that. That being said, there is an Arizona State shortstop, Luke Hill. Keep an eye on him today. I think he just entered the portal today. He is phenomenal by all accounts. I think Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Tennessee, not necessarily in that order, are three that he's looking at, and the portal closes today. So he has entered in time now. He has time to make a decision. You don't have to decide by today, but that's a big one to keep an eye out on. Other than that, I think Ethan Leger could move over and play short if they needed him to, but I think they would love to get a Luke Hill if they could.
Luke Hill out of Arizona State. We'll keep an eye out on that. Now, T.J. McCant's going to Alabama, staying in the SEC, staying in the West. I'm just using him as an example. Is this something we're just going to have to get used to, going back and playing your old team basically the very next year?
I think so. I think it's just you're going to see it more and more. And, it's so interesting especially in baseball. I mean, all of the sports, I guess. But in baseball, you've got when it comes to a player and it's your next to the last year, you have a year remaining, you might go in the draft, you might return depending on to your school, what the NIL money is like there, and then throw in, an offer from another school. And I think it just makes it complicated. And, you just can't blame the kids for going, where they can get the most while they can.
I do have to say, man, college coaches today, they got their work cut out for them because, man, you gotta now be inside those kids' heads, not just in high school, but the whole time they're there and making sure that they're still committed to you.
Yeah, and you just have to worry. I mean, if you've got a kid, I don't know. I literally know nothing about the situation with McCants in Alabama, but what if, he's been playing. I mean, he's been a stand-up kid playing in the outfield. When he got to Ole Miss, he got there, Jacob. Yeah, and you had Jacob Gonzalez. I mean, you have a first-round pick in the White Sox, so Gonzo's going to play short, but yet McCants, he played in center, he played in right, and, did whatever they asked of him, and maybe he's going to get to play some short at Alabama. I don't know.
Well, Evie, do me a big favor and tell me what y'all guys are working on at the Rebel Walk coming up down the pipe.
Well, we're just gearing up, like I say, for SEC Media Days. I'm really excited about that. We're also working with former Ole Miss receivers Shay Hodge and Mike Espy in their Mesh Academy to start maybe interviewing and giving some exposure to some of the top high school players in the state of Mississippi. So I'm really looking forward to that. They train some of the top kids. And
doing a little 7-on-7?
Yes. They're doing great. Actually, Shay Hodge and Mike Espy's Mesh Academy won the Cam Newton 7-on-7 in Atlanta. They went to Arkansas a couple of weeks ago and won that. So I think Mississippi's going to start, stand up Mississippi. They're going to start making some 7-on-7 noise. Anyway, we'll just keep everybody covered what's going on with baseball and potential transfers in. And so stay tuned to the RebelWalk.com.
Man, Evie, thank you so much for your time. Have fun in Nashville, and we'll be checking you out at the Rebel Walk and at Ole Miss Evie.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You too. That's the sweetest lady in the whole wide world, and she knows more about the Ole Miss Rebels sports than anybody I talk to. And Brett Norsworthy. Brett can talk. Whoa. You know what? When you make absolutes, you got to make sure both of these two people. If those two people got in a room, I just sit quiet.
I was about to say, John. I mean, if anybody has two good Ole Miss connects, it's you. I mean, those are the two people to know at Ole Miss.
Brett and Brett.
I think if you just knew those two people when it comes to Ole Miss, really any team, if there's two people like that, I think you're covered.
Yeah, you would have all your answers. Any question you had, they'd have you covered. Now, we're going to take a quick break because on the other side, we got to go to Hardwood. So don't touch the dial. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Buying a diamond here in Memphis just got a whole lot easier and a lot less expensive. Genesis Diamonds has arrived, now open at Poplar Commons. This is the game-changing concept that will forever change the jewelry scene here. With a gorgeous showroom, a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores, no middleman, direct importer pricing, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the industry. Genesis Diamond, started by a former diamond wholesaler, was voted 13 consecutive years best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Now we've arrived in Memphis with a no-stress, no-pressure, non-commission sales environment with exceptional quality and prices that will blow you away. Genesis showcases hand-picked diamonds from the best cutters around the world and the finest American-made designer rings from top names like Tacori and Verragio, plus the largest selection of earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, as well as luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Don't buy a diamond engagement ring or any diamond jewelry anywhere until you discover this exciting new concept. Genesis Diamonds, now open in Poplar Commons.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
I think it's the slow smoking over pecan and hickory wood.
It's the secret combination of dry rub spices.
Maybe it isn't one single thing that makes Central Barbecue special.
I didn't say it was one thing. I said there's probably one thing that makes Central Barbecue special that's more important than the other things that make Central Barbecue special.
It's the 24-hour meat marinade.
That was the name of my band in high school, Meat Marinade.
Let's try and focus on Central Barbecue Spot, okay? Have we said Central Barbecue is special enough?
I'm not sure if we can say it enough because Central Barbecue is so special.
Ooh, nice. Going from Central Barbecue is special to Central Barbecue is so special.
That should probably do it.
Central Barbecue is so special. For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
4.9 liter V8, 0 to 60, and I'm about to find out.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Brian Dacus. A big thanks to Evie Van Pelt on the other side from the Rebel Walk. In the first hour, 11:30, I talked with Isaac Simpson. Big thanks to him. Also, Ethos Grizzlies and the TigerSportsReport.com. Now it is time to get to a little bit of fun. It is time to do a little bit of hardwood. But first, I have to remind you, if you want to get your stone on, you go to Barden Stone. You need landscape stone? They got you covered. You need some granite countertops? They got you covered. What about some marble? Oh, they got you. I'm telling you, at Barden Stone, they have it all. You can go over there and just walk through their public garden and look at all their different stone. You want to build a walkway, nice little pretty one with some field stone. Again, they got you stoned at Barden Stone. They're at 1557 Cherry Road right here in Memphis, Tennessee. That's 1557. Go check them out, Barden Stone, or go to bardenstone.com and just get a visual on some things that you might want to go out there and do for a little backyard beauty, or again, new countertops is always nice. That's Barden Stone. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Oh my goodness. Got some crazy stuff with my man Jake Paul. Jake Paul and Logan Paul making news today. One is really, really actually good, and one is not surprising. But do you know who KSI is?
Yes.
Who is he?
He's another YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber?
Well, yeah, I mean, something like that. He might do like Twitch as well. I know he's like a YouTuber, though.
Well, Logan Paul, and that's Jake's brother, the older brother, the one that boxed Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, he also boxed KSI.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, they're buddies now. Logan Paul and KSI opened up this thing called Prime Energy Drink.
Yeah, they do Prime together. That's right.
In Prime, you can buy it here in the United States, no problem. You know what I'm saying? But Canada, the Health Canada, it's called Health Canada, came out and made a decision that they can't sell it in Canada and have shipped all of their shipments that have come into their country back because they say it has too much caffeine.
Yeah, have you ever tried one?
No, I've never tried one.
Like, I love sweet things. It's way too sweet.
It's way too sweet
and
also
gross.
Jacked up with some caffeine. Mm-hmm. Man, you know what the weird thing is? I saw this, like, you know there's a yellow dye and a red dye that is, like, illegal in every other country with ours?
Yeah, Melinda won't drink, like, red Gatorade because it has it in it. It's, like, red 50 or something like that.
And yellow 5 is the one that's bad. You know that they say pickles are all up in the yellow 5.
Really? I don't eat pickles, so I wouldn't know.
No, well, but don't worry about it. I guess you're not going to have to worry about dying from yellow 5.
Good.
Well, not only is Logan Paul again in the news, Jake Paul is in the news, and it's pretty impressive. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Now, I know that being on the cover in 2023 ain't as big a deal as it was back in the 90s, but he's still on the cover. Hell, or even when LeBron James was coming up 20 years ago, late 2000s. But Sports Illustrated, still out there. They have Jake Paul on the cover, and it's because they ranked the 50 most influential figures in sports. He hopped on the radio to talk about how excited he was and his experience to be on the cover is just surreal. And he actually said some things that are pretty nice. He said, without my fans, I wouldn't have made it through all the negativity, through all the hate, through all the things and the people trying to tear us down. We've risen to the occasion and we've overcome it every single time. You can't really argue with homie. Like, dude was, how did he, okay, so he started out doing what? Because he mentioned
YouTube.
Is that how he got his start?
Started doing YouTube.
Was he on Disney?
He was on Disney for a second, and then he went back to YouTube. Vine was very popular with him, and then he decided.
What is Vine? Is that a dating app?
No, it was TikTok before TikTok. It
was
like
there was
the
a
OG
TikTok before TikTok?
Yeah. So it was like just short little videos.
MySpace was before the Facebook?
Yeah, basically.
How come always the second one's better, bro? Which was first,
I think
Coke or Pepsi?
Vine was better than TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, I like Vine. But I was also in
never
middle
seen a
school when
Vine.
Vine came out, so Vine was very big.
So it was way above the in front of the curve.
Yeah. Yeah, and I forgot why they shut down for some reason, and then a couple years later.
Well, bet
TikTok
can I tell you something? They kind of screwed up. Might want to stick around a little bit longer because now everybody loves these little dance videos.
Well, but there's
just ask Britney Spears and what's up, Pat Mahomes' brother,
Jackson Mahomes. But Vine, I don't remember a lot of dance videos being on Vine as much as they are on TikTok.
Why are they always putting these dance videos on Vine on the TikTok?
I don't know. Vine was more, I would always watch like there would be like short like comedy skits and stuff on Vine, like people like doing funny things.
I like funny
things. That wasn't a very good explanation of Vine.
Well, give me your story, fool.
A robot said that it is not looking to steal human jobs or rebel against humans. You take the robot's word for it?
No, because I was watching a thing just yesterday. The AI, like 5 AI robots went to some like event, and one of the questions was, who do you think would run the country better, humans or robots? And the thing went on to say how robots would run if they were in charge of the world, it would be a much better place because they don't have past history. They only think in logic, blah, 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 blah. Man, they're taking it over, bro. And by the way, you want to hear also something else that's pretty crazy? This was actually said. I saw this today. One of the, I don't know, one of the members of the House came out and said something like kind of lunacy, talked about the robots. It was like, man, well, what are we gonna do with all the people that basically's jobs are replaced by these robots? Like some reporters, like when the if we go robot or whatever, AI, I'm sounding stupider by the second.
Okay, keep going.
The guy came back with this answer, and he goes, well, it's a good thing that we're legalizing drugs and kids have video games.
Ha!
Because, like, all he's basically saying is that we're going to be just sitting around doing drugs, playing video games. I don't play video games.
It's like the movie WALL-E.
Which WALL-E? Is it a video? Is it a game or a cartoon, or is it a movie?
It's a movie. It's a Disney Pixar movie where
Hell no, I ain't seen
Earth is uninhabitable anymore because of all the pollution, and so all the humans that are left alive are in space on these giant spacecrafts that are like cruise ships, and technology has gotten so far that robots are doing all the work, and humans are just laying around like in these like recliners, just like doing everything, watching TV, playing video games, all that stuff. They're all like overweight, and like it's supposed to like, you know, show people like, hey, you know, don't pollute, don't all that stuff. But there's robots on Earth trying to clean up the Earth so that that humans can come back to it. And WALL-E's one of the robots, and he finds love with another robot cleaning up.
Oh my
Earth.
God! Now the robots are falling in love.
Yeah, they're falling in love.
Last thing
robot
we need
love,
is,
gross.
man, they'll invade Vegas so quick, or Manhattan. It's also legal in Manhattan. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now I just forgot what I was about to tell you.
John, Machine Gun Kelly fulfilled a fan's wish by punching him in the face. If you had to pick one celebrity to punch you in the face, who would it be?
A celebrity to punch me in the face? Paige Spreenak.
Interesting. I should have saw that coming.
That was a great question, though. Like, I mean, she's probably got a good punch. Have you ever seen her hit a golf ball?
I have a couple times, yeah.
She's good at it, isn't she?
Sure.
She looks good doing it, doesn't she?
I guess so.
Please, you know she does. Stop lying to yourself. You think your girlfriend's listening?
No, she's working right now.
Do you have a hall pass out there? Because she's my single hall pass that I have in the world.
No. I hope my girlfriend's not listening, because I've texted her some very important things the last 15 minutes, and she hasn't texted me back. So if you're listening, text me back, because this is important stuff.
Because it's crucial?
Crucial. Very. You're absolutely right, John. Crucial things that I need answers for.
All right. Do you know whose birthday it is today? This is going to mess you up.
It's Connor's birthday. My brother. He turns 20 today. Happy birthday, Connor.
Well, tell him.
It's also Mike's birthday. Mike's turning the big 5-0.
Mike is 50 today.
Yeah.
So Mike Brewer,
happy birthday,
who's our
Mike.
sales manager here. Happy birthday,
Mike's
50.
30 years older than my brother.
It's not little man Connor, because he ain't little. Connor's bigger than you.
He is.
And he's your little brother.
He is.
He beat the brakes off.
Sure
you.
could.
He's going to be how old?
20.
20. Congratulations to him.
Big 2-0.
And guess who else's birthday
He cashed in on a big parlay the other night, too. Happy birthday.
Guess who else's birthday it is?
Who?
It's Richard Simmons' 75th birthday.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Do you know what he did?
Know what he did? To celebrate?
No, I don't know about what he did, man. But, like, he was a dude who turned a lot of fat ladies skinny.
Yeah.
He did what is it called? Jazzercise?
Jazzercise, that's right.
Is that what he made popular?
Yeah, I guess that's what you would call it.
Jazzercise.
Let's see what his Wikipedia calls it. Aerobic videos.
Oh, man, Jane Fonda did aerobics.
Yeah,
Richard Simmons did jazzercise. There's a big difference, man. Big difference.
No, his birthday's not today. His birthday was yesterday. Or Wikipedia has it wrong, one of the two.
Well, it could, because at least my thing, TMZ said today. And I don't know, I kind of trust
Who do you trust more,
TMZ
TMZ or Wikipedia?
It says Richard Simmons, he's been missing for a decade.
He's been missing for a decade?
Well, they just said he's been hiding, doesn't come out and talk to nobody. They call him a
alum
fitness.
Of Florida
they
State.
call him a fitness guru.
I would agree.
Corso, didn't Lee Corso go to Florida State?
He coached at Florida State. I don't know if he went there.
I don't know. For some reason, I think he did. Now, I'm also upset about one thing. This is huge.
He did go to Florida State. He was quarterback and
right.
cornerback, two-way player. What are you excited about?
I'm not excited about this. I'm very upset, and I don't believe it. I want to know how you feel about this, because I asked Jay this question. Do you believe the Secret Service? How can they not know whose cocaine it is? They'll coke in the White House. This is some BS, brother. Because let me just tell you something. If it was anthrax, I guarantee you they would have figured out who it was. You're telling me there wasn't DNA, fingerprints? How about all the video cameras in the daggum White House?
That's what I'm saying. They found a little like a little corner area where the cameras wouldn't see him to get a little bump in.
No, bro. No, they ain't. This dude, the people who are doing cocaine aren't Jack Bauer. You know what I'm saying?
You never know.
They're not Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
Well, maybe.
They're doing bumps in the White House.
Maybe
They're a raging lunatic.
Well, last week you brought a bunch of great names of who's cocaine.
Well, the people who
was
visit,
it?
like we had, remember, LSU's women's basketball team.
Yeah, I don't buy that one.
I mean, I don't know if you know this. Women have longer fingernails. It's kind of easier to dip their fingernail into a bag of cocaine and just kind of do
very
a little
quickly.
tube.
Maybe
Yeah,
you can't
you
notice
won't
it. Maybe she's just picking her nose
Yeah,
or something.
you could think that,
Huh.
or so like again, I'm not gonna put it past. Why do you think it's got to be a man's? What are you, a sexist?
No, I didn't say that. I just said I don't think it's when a team gets there.
You
I
ever
don't know if they're
watched,
focused on doing cocaine.
You ever watch Scarface?
Yes.
Did you see how much blow his wife did?
Oh no, John, I never said one way or the other.
All right, I'm just saying it could be a woman's. I mean, could Angelina Jolie visited the White House this year? It could have been hers. And by the way, you talk about like hiding from cameras. In a lot of her movies, doesn't she like play like a cat burglar or a secret spy?
Who are we talking about again?
Angelina Jolie.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an Angelina Jolie movie.
I know she was in a movie
Let's see
where
what
she
she's
like
been in.
was a spy or something, man, and she did really good. She wore like leather bodysuit. I remember that.
Speaking of actors, Dennis Quaid's coming to Memphis for Elvis Week. I found that out like an hour ago. I'm very excited about that.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Dennis
I'm trying to
Quaid.
think which one Dennis Quaid is.
Dennis Quaid's in a bunch of movies. He's a really good actor.
Oh wait, he's is that the dude who was married to Meg Ryan?
Yes, from 91 to 2001.
You know
in
why
The
he
Rookie.
divorced her? Once she went and had her lips done, she messed up her face, and she didn't have that cute little girl next door look no
Really?
more. So that is the
That's
warning
terrible.
about plastic surgery. It can go good.
So the love wasn't
it
real.
It could go real south. Yeah, dude, it was superficial. He was just digging her looks.
No, John. I'm looking at all the movies Angelina Jolie's been in. I've got to say, I'm not a movie buff. I'm sure if Jay Morgan's listening, he's going to be very ashamed right now. Never seen an Angelina Jolie movie. Kung Fu Panda, does that count?
No,
she just
cartoon.
voices it. She's not in it.
No.
Never seen an Angelina Jolie
Which
movie.
one? But do you see some movies where she was like a spy?
Sure. I mean, Tomb Raider. I don't know if you'd call that a
dude.
spy.
I mean, she's
but
raiding some damn tombs.
Cyborg 2. Maybe she's a spy in that. I don't know.
Well, she's an action hero, is what I'm
sure.
saying.
Yeah, a lot of action heroes. It seems like Mr. and Mrs. Smith looks like.
Oh yeah,
an
that's
action
where
movie.
she's a hitman.
Huh.
See, are you allowed to say hitman anymore, or do we have to say hit person?
No,
I think you have to say hit person in 2023. I don't want to screw up and get anybody mad at me. I don't want the letter brigade to come out and smack me around.
Yeah, I don't know, John.
Yeah. And plus, don't forget the Kansas City Chiefs team was there. I mean, I don't see Kermit the
Mahomes.
Frog. I don't see Mahomes doing it, man. I really don't. By the way, did you see Mahomes' new home that just got finished like this
His
week?
new what?
He had a house built. It's his new home.
Oh yeah, he's got like a half a football field.
He's got a
back there.
half
He's
a
got like
football field.
Couple golf holes.
He's got a
in
little
there.
par 3 golf course around his lake.
Yeah.
Of course, he's
Good
got
for
the
him.
pool. His house is so dope.
John, have you seen any of the new show? I just broke my pen, I think. Have you seen any of the new show on Netflix, Quarterbacks, where it's Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota?
This is on the
Kirk
Netflix?
Cousins. Yeah, it's like focusing on the quarterbacks, and it's
Nope.
like behind the scenes type of stuff with like 4 quarterbacks from the NFL. And it came out yesterday, but they put a snippet on. I haven't been able to watch it. They put a snippet on Twitter yesterday from the game where Patrick Mahomes had to come out because he had that high ankle sprain. And Chad Henne came in and played.
yeah.
And it's like behind the scenes, like everyone's mic'd up. And, I mean, he's just losing his mind because he wants to go back into the game. They're like, you got to go get an x-ray. And he's like, can I wait till halftime? Can I wait till halftime? And he's just, I mean, he's dog cussing everybody. He's throwing his helmet. I mean, he is mad. And it goes up to his wife. And I don't know what you think about his wife. A lot of people think his wife is quite annoying.
Well, you know what? She might be
And-
annoying, but I'll tell you one thing. She, did you see her pop out that baby and then a week later in her bathing suit?
Good for her.
I don't even. She's a fitness,
I'll be honest. I didn't even know
she's
she
like
had a baby.
Fitness guru.
Congratulations to the Mahomes. I didn't know. I didn't know they
The
had a
only
baby.
person I don't like of the Mahomes is really, honestly,
His brother.
Yeah.
Well, the camera's on Patrick Mahomes. He's going off. He's cussing everybody out. He's madder than anything. They go up to his wife, and she's sitting in the stands, and she goes, "I don't think he's mad at them. I think he's just mad that he's hurt." Oh, thanks. I mean, great observation. So I don't know how much I'm gonna like this show, but I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna watch it. I'll give it a chance.
I don't want to hear Kirk Cousins.
I think it's Kirk Cousins on there. It's like 4 quarterbacks. I know Patrick Mahomes is on there. I know Marcus Mariota's on there, which I think Marcus Mariota will be fun to watch because it was a very up-and-down season for him in Atlanta, and he ended up not playing the last 5 games because of injuries, and then they just wanted to play Desmond Ridder instead of him. So I think that would be interesting to watch. I can't remember who the 4th quarterback is, though.
Well, I guess you're going to have to check it out on the Netty
I guess so.
Don't you dare touch the dial. We got to close things out on the other side. It's Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Robert is a real Prevagen user and content contributor.
I am Robert Strickler. My wife Joyce and I have been married for 53 years. Certainly one of the really important things in my life are our children and our grandchildren. I am essentially a writer. I've been involved in communications in the media. I've been an avid fly fisherman for at least 40 or more years. I've been taking Prevagen for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, have a crisper ability to remember and think through things. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you ready to conquer the great outdoors? Come in today and gear up with the dependable Suzuki King Quad ATV because there's no rest for the rugged. Its unparalleled combination of power, versatility, and reliability allow you to tackle the toughest terrains with ease. And right now, there are lots of ways to help you hit the trail, including low APR financing and low monthly payments for qualified buyers, discounts for the military and first responders, and more. Roll into Olive Branch Motorsports in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and experience the Suzuki King Quad ATV's unmatched capabilities today.
I just one of those things, when things get too heavy, just call me helium.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy, Johnny Radio, hanging out with my friend, Brian Dacus. You can hear him today from 3 to 6 with Brett Norsworthy on a little sports time. What you got coming up today, by the way?
That's a great question. I've been sitting here trying to get ready for a show, and I ended up spending the last hour looking at stuff happening at Graceland this week. We're going to have some great guests today. We're going to talk some Big 12 Media Days. With Dean Blevins. Keith Smith, who joins us every week to talk NBA, will be here. We'll talk to Greg Gaston about the Tigers, hopefully get some more information on what's going on with the Tigers, both basketball and football team. So we'll have a fun time this afternoon.
Sounds like it's going to be a absolute riot. I'll be listening from 3 to 6. Now, got a couple professional athletes out there. 2 of them are not happy, and then 2 of them really love themselves. And I got a question for you. Who do you think likes themselves more? If you saw LeBron James, he is very unaware when he's in public about how much he just dotes on himself. Nobody thought he was retiring from basketball at all, but he decided to go on the ESPYs and decide that.
Did you watch any of the ESPYs?
Man, I watched some of the highlights this morning. I thought LeBron James' daughter is going to be an actress in the future because her Savannah was saying I just think LeBron James is one bad mother bleep, and the daughter, hit her to stop her. I mean, that was planned. It was kind of a little cute thing, but she did a great job on doing that. Her timing was impeccable. You can tell she's got some James blood in her because the blood's damn good.
The timing is there.
But it's the head. LeBron James, man. I ain't talking about your raise like the gum, the
Huh?
His forehead been raising since he was 16.
Oh, I see. His hairline. Hairline joke.
Receding.
There you go.
Yeah. It was a bad one. I didn't land. Sorry. If Jay was here, it would have been better. But LeBron.
Oh, because he's bald.
Yes. LeBron used the ESPYs to say, the day I can't give everything on the floor is the day I'll be done with basketball. Lucky for you guys, that day is not today. I'm just like, dude,
that's huge.
You love you some you. But who loves himself more, LeBron James or Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers made some interesting comments today. He was asked, how do you feel about doing the HBO show Hard Knocks? And he's like, oh, they forced it down our throats, and we got to deal with it. I need some mushrooms. I understand the appeal of us. Right. He says, I understand the appeal of us. Obviously, there are a lot of eyes on me, a lot of eyes on our team, and a lot of expectations for our squad this year with me coming in. One of the only things I like about Hard Knocks is the voice of God, the man who narrates it. I'd really like to meet him.
Well, maybe he'll get his wish.
Who loves himself more, Aaron Rodgers or LeBron James?
Come on. I would have to say Aaron Rodgers, because this is actually funny you bring this up, because I was at dinner last night with my buddies, and one of my friends said nobody loves themselves more and loves the spotlight more, but tries to act like they hate being in the spotlight more than Aaron Rodgers. And that is so true. Aaron Rodgers is always trying to not being in the media.
Pat McAfee every week.
And then, he's like, oh, I just got to get away. I got to do this darkness retreat. And, that sounds on surface like you want to get away, but really you just want all the attention on yourself because – it was the most talked about story for 2 months is that Aaron Rodgers is going on a darkness retreat, and what does this entail? Everything. So Aaron Rodgers, I love Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers loves himself some him.
He does. And I do have to say, though, I got to give Aaron Rodgers credit. He's doing a lot of good things for people who struggle with depression and people who just want to get high because, again, mushrooms and ayahuasca, which now 2 states have decriminalized it, and that's Colorado and Oregon. Not surprising. No, it's Colorado and Washington State that have decriminalized mushrooms, and then 18 others have it in legislation. So, Aaron Rodgers, I guess we can give you a little bit of love for that. Now, Rory McIlroy, did you know he is agitated as all get out?
He's always agitated, John.
I know. And also he chokes. What's it been? It was 2015 that man's won a major? Come on, Rory. Well, he came out and said if Live Golf was the last place to play golf on earth, I would retire. That's how I feel about it. Whoa.
Good for him. I love someone who makes a stand.
Man, you know what? I got to give him some credit. I do, too. I like that. At least, hey, nobody else is. But you know what? I feel bad. Jay Monahan threw that poor guy under the bus, didn't he? Hey, be my mouthpiece. Be my cheerleader. Sure, and then, man, hey, let me tell you something, man. Let's do this deal. Let's give me some fat cash. I'm going to be hanging out with the prince. All right, we have baseball tomorrow. Did you know that?
Yep.
I'm grateful. You know what I'm going to do to celebrate?
Bet.
I'm going to bet, and I'm also going to stop by my local liquor store for a big old handle of Tito's handmade vodka. It's the best vodka in the world. It's crafted and distilled right here in the United States. I'm telling you right now, when you want the best spirit is Tito's handmade vodka. You know what? I have to say, my time has come and gone. I hope you had a good Thursday. I'll see you on Friday. For Bryant, I'm John. Get out there. Make the world a better place. We're going to see you on the flip side. Peace.
Whatever you do, don't buy an engagement ring or any piece of diamond jewelry until you discover the all-new Genesis Diamonds, now open in Poplar Commons. Genesis Diamonds. This is no ordinary